3 things I would never say to my child as a picky eater dietitian who works with extreme picky eaters. The first thing I would never say, you're such a picky eater, or use the words picky eater in front of my child that was a picky eater. And the reason for that is because when we say those sorts of things out loud to our child, this could become a self-fulfilling prophecy for them, which is not what we want. We don't want them to be a picky eater. Why would we reinforce that with our own mentality? I wouldn't say it. The second thing I would never say to my child who's a picky eater, oh, that's all right, I'll just make you something else. You can have something else. You don't want to eat what I've made for dinner? I'll make you something else. Don't come after me in the comments saying that you want your child to eat something is better than nothing. Yes, something is better than nothing, but I can tell you that it's better to work backwards from the problem. Instead of making a meal for them that you know that they won't eat or they won't be successful with, you start by providing some sort of a reliable food on their plate that they can be successful with the meal that you've made, and so that you're not catering and making a separate meal for them afterwards, because that's a lot of work that no one needs to make separate meals. And the last thing I would never say to my child who's a picky eater is you have to try a bite. Because when you tell a child that they have to try something, even if it is something that they are allowed to say that they don't like, because I get this a lot in my comments where people will say, oh, my child has to try it, but I don't force them to eat it. You are forcing them to try a bite. You're not forcing them to eat more than a bite, but you are forcing them to eat a bite, which is still forcing them to eat something. And when you do that, you immediately put your child on the defensive. Your child is going to be much more likely to not want to eat it because you have forced a bite. And sometimes you might get a better reaction where they might say like, oh, my child tried it and they thought it was great and then they ate it. But more often than not, you're not going to get that response. And that's because whenever we're forced to do something, we're much less likely to actually enjoy it.